everyone, and welcome to CDN's Newsmakers series. I'm Paul Dunleavy, the editor of CDN Computer Dealer News. With me here today is one of our top 25 newsmakers, Ross Allen from McAfee, Canada. Ross, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Your company managed to do quite well in 2009, despite a downturn in the economy. What specifically did you do to lead to such success?
Well, that's a good question. A couple of key things. Probably the first one is it was a corporate initiative. And that initiative was really to talk about our corporate message. And today what we're finding is that clients are really looking for ways to consolidate, simplify the number of vendors they're dealing with in the security space. And if you can consolidate and you can simplify, ultimately you can help cut costs too. So from a McAfee perspective, we went out and did a certification. And we certified every customer-facing person about what our strategy was. So regardless of where you were and what part of the country or what part of North America you were in, that message about consolidation and simplification and McAfee from addressing not just the endpoint, but the network and the web was a consistent message that got out into the marketplace. And I think it's resonated. And that's helped us with some of our success in 2009.
One of the more interesting announcements that you made in 2009 was the creation of a separate security as a service business unit. What was the strategy behind this move?
The McAfee, from a part of that messaging I was telling you about in the previous question, we talked about, I don't want to call it tiers, but really 3 levels of protection that we talk about from a McAfee perspective. And it's that layering of protection that's important. Since there's no one piece of antiviral code or one piece of network code that's going to keep you protected from the attack vectors that we're seeing today. So what we've done from a McAfee side is there's a very dedicated group on the endpoint, which you've traditionally known McAfee for. There's a second group on the network, so from a network access control, from an intrusion prevention side, from a data level protection, from application whitelisting and dynamic whitelisting. And the third component is out in the web. And there are 3 key components that exist on that web component to assist in the security profile. The first is something we call Artemis. And Artemis is a signature-based security application that gets away from the DAT perspective of getting to download a DAT to protect yourself. This will now enable a signature to give you protection in milliseconds versus the hours or days it might take you from downloading a DAT. The second component is really looking at cataloging all the internet IDs and the performance and giving them a ranking. So we've ranked, and it's not internal to any organization, just the behavior of those IP addresses. And we've been able to identify bad sites or malicious sites ahead of most of our competition. And we're sharing that data with our clients so they can take a more proactive stance on security and protecting themselves via the web.
The biggest acquisition in 2009 was MS Logix, a cloud security provider. In 2009, cloud security was a big concern in the marketplace. I'm sure it'll be again in 2010. How does this acquisition help position you in the marketplace and with the channel?
A couple of things there. The first one is you're quite right in terms of our focus on the network is very large. So, in fact, we've reorganized the company around our what we're calling network defense.
Right.
So taking all our products and saying, what is it that we offer from looking at it from a network basis, of which MX Logic is a component of that.
Right.
And so I think that's a good first step. The second piece is where we've traditionally taken a company like MX Logic, we'll operate that company independently for the first year, and then once we understand, we don't want to impose our will on those acquisitions out of the gate. So we want them to be successful so we can learn off of them, and then we look for the integration points inside the company. So absolute focus on the network, absolute focus on the web, and then ultimately the integration of MX Logix over this next 12 months.
Speaking of the channel, you hired Alex Thurber, formerly from Cisco. I know you're a big fan of that company. He's going to be your worldwide channel chief. What does it mean to the Canadian channel to have an executive with this kind of clout running the channel business?
I couldn't be more excited to have Alex on board. A couple of things. We're doing pretty well in Canada already. We just held the North American Awards for our partners.
Right.
Really pleased to say that there's 2 Canadian winners in that. ISA was named the McAfee North American Partner of the Year.
Great partner.
Great partner. Also, STI out of Ottawa was named the Network Partner of North America. So very pleased by that. But what Alex is going to bring, and it's already showing already, is really taking some of the discipline and the programs that Cisco had and bringing all that experience over to McAfee. So some of the early things we're seeing for the channel, which are quite positive, one is around deal registration and teaming agreements, so a process around ensuring that if you're bringing an opportunity to us, that we're locked and loaded on that opportunity with you. So I think that's important. The B part is that message that we talked about the tiering. You know, we're going to pay more to our channel to say, look, if we can sell that interlock and the gift that gives around security in those different layers, you know, we're gonna work with that group of partners that enable that story. The third component is really around we're adding about 50 lead generation folks in Plano. And some of that resource is going to be dedicated to the Canadian space. Okay. And the key thing around that is the traditional argument that you hear is that from a vendor perspective, we're always searching for the V, the value in the value-added remarketer, and the value-added remarketer is counting on us to help drive leads for them. So, you know, that's the kind of the dichotomy that exists, and we're trying to bring that dichotomy closer together by assisting, by generating leads from the vendor side, quality leads that we're going to pass over to the channel. So, a more proactive program for the channel. You know, and I think that Alex's experience is also, we're going to see, you know, we're not going to widen the amount of channel we have today. I think we're pretty secure in the channel partners that we have. I think what you will see from a Canadian example, we're looking to strengthen our position in Western Canada. For example, we recently enrolled Longview Systems to help us in the West, doing more in the East Coast. Strengthening our position in Montreal, but we're not going to be adding to the pile. I think it's important to do more with the folks that we have. And I guess the last thing I comment on there is really around the certification. I think Cisco's really led the marketplace from a channel perspective around the certification of employees where they can generate additional revenues by having, let's say, Cisco certified folks and the exams and the certification that's required to keep that going. I think you can expect to see more of that from McAfee.
McAfee's strength is in the enterprise space, but in 2009, you also made a big leap in the consumer side of things with the announcement of the McAfee Family Protection Suite. How is this going to make you more visible on the consumer side of things?
We announced that product here in Canada with the Office of the Privacy Commissioner, Ann Kavukian, here in Ontario. And we did that to really talk about the privacy of individuals. I think it's very topical right now, and parents have this level of anxiety around their kids surfing. What are they doing on their surfing activities? Are they practicing safe surfing? And the family protection enables you to set parameters around that surfing activities that will notify your BlackBerry if they've hit illicit sites. It works together with McAfee Site Advisor that you can now ban red sites that are known to have malicious code as part of them. So I think that kind of thing hit a sweet spot in terms of the concern that parents have around their kids. Equally, you know, I've hired resource here in Canada to dedicate into that consumer space. Our consumer business was up 30% in 2008. We've targeted another 30% in 2009. We've targeted another 30% in 2010, and we're strengthening our relationship with partners across the board on the consumer space as well. So stay tuned. There's more announcements coming around McAfee on the consumer side to enhance performance, enhance the security aspect, ease of use, all tied in with family protection as well.
2009 was definitely an eventful year for yourself and your team. What can we look out for in 2010 for the channel?
I think the channel can look out for a stronger relationship with McAfee, certainly better programs. We want to, Alex has called 2010 the year of the partner. I think you could have easily have said the year of the channel. But we wanted to change that the year of the partner to say, look, it's our partners that are going to ultimately help us to be successful. We're a 100% dedicated channel-centric company here in Canada. I don't do anything direct. So if anything that's going to help us strengthen that relationship with the channel, from the programs, the certs, the loyalty, the integrity in the system, ultimately is going to help us in 2010. And those are the basis that I run McAfee here in Canada.
Ross, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And thank you very much for watching this portion of the Newsmakers series. Make sure to stay tuned to ComputerDealerNews.com for more Newsmakers interviews. I'm Paul Dunley-Bledo for CDN Computer Dealer News. Thanks for watching.